Hello everyone, how are you doing? Hope everything is well. It's Thursday of autumn. Well, it's not really. It might be for you, but it's not for us. It's the second here. It's the second day of autumn. But I know a lot of people watch my YouTube channel from Orlando at the moment, which is quite cool. And it is 2 p.m. in the afternoon here on Monday in New Zealand. So you're still living the Sunday evening. So I hope you're enjoying it. So what have I got for you today? Well, you may have not heard of Harry M. Samuels, but by the end of this live, you will, and you'll probably know what role he played in connection to Goliath Ventures. So we're now looking at a case that has crossed a very serious line. Federal charges have been filed against Christopher Delgado in connection to Goliath Ventures Inc., his company. Sorry, just rhetorical. A scheme prosecutors alleged pulled approximately $328 million from investors. Now that figure to me is a little bit light because I've been calling this a Ponzi scheme between $250 and $500 million. However, that is the money that the government has managed to trace have come in to the company. It's no longer speculation or an online debate or competing narratives. This is a criminal complaint filed in federal court. So you can't get any better than what's happening at the moment other than an indictment. And we do know that Christopher obviously has been arrested and he's managed to get himself a very nice ankle bracelet and have to live at home with his mate Steve Davis. Well, we don't know if Steve Davis and him are actually shacking up in the same room in the double bunks yet, but we do realise that either Steve Davis is living in one of Christopher's houses and he's got to the 26th to pack his bag and get the fire boys to pick him up and shift him to a new premises. Now, that's probably not going to happen because the fire boys don't like Steve Davis anymore. Unfortunately, he's been a naughty boy, claiming he's a fire chief. Even we found out that that isn't quite true either. I think he was more like a bushwhacker fighting fires, and he may have been in charge of a few boys. That happens when you're in the fire brigade for 20 years, apparently. But anyway, let's not go get diverted here. Let's see what. So this is only part of the story. For those changes, when those changes become public, another development quietly unfolded in the background. The long-time registered agent and tax preparer connected to Goliath, Harry M. Samuels, confirmed he is resigning. Now, I've been corresponding with Harry Samuels, and he actually reached out to me, would you believe? I've been talking about him since day dot. And all of a sudden, Goliath gets this criminal charges laid against him, and now he reaches out to me to say, "Oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I haven't done anything wrong." And I have no reason to say he has or he hasn't. But I want to basically present to you why he's a person of interest to my Avengers and why his name continuously come up through this whole saga. And you can draw your own conclusion on what you think this person's involvement, because you may be surprised just how much this person was involved, who's now just saying he was basically a clerk. And I go, that's fine. You can go that route if you want. I'm not going to accuse you of anything, but let me tell you the story first. So at the same time, Goliath Ventures Inc. and the bookkeeper company tied to its financial records, they shifted from Florida to Wyoming within a 24-hour period. So we've got Nadia Bringus is the lady I'm talking about. She's actually moved her company from Florida and re-registered in Wyoming. And she did this on the 2nd of September. Goliath Ventures also did the same, and they did this on the 3rd of September. And that was when we were just starting to cover this investigation. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's up already. They closed the company in Florida. How could I go after a company for running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in America, and then they shut the doors on the company? But then we found out 24 hours later that it updated in the records, and they both actually had updated and put their company into Wyoming, which is quite interesting. And from my perspective, if you were to have a company registered in the Cayman Islands or other shady places in the world. When somebody tells me that their company is registered in Wyoming, straight away it raised the biggest red flag ever. And it was just sort of ironic that Nadia, a bookkeeper who actually works for Harry M. Samuels independently, contract-wise, don't know, on their webpage, which I will bring up, which I forgot to do before we went live. But anyway, what I'm getting at is, why would a bookkeeper all of a sudden decide that she's going to move her company to Wyoming? Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know where she lives, but I presume it's in Florida. So isn't that unusual? So why would they do these sort of things? Well, we're going to unravel some of this as we go down there. So they both moved their companies to Wyoming, for tax purposes, apparently. We are going to walk you through the timeline carefully, because that's the exciting part. We are going to examine the federal complaint, the corporate structure, the network of entities, the resignations. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Resignations.
Oh, my goodness, he got it right. The Wyoming refiling, the role of the professionals who have described their involvement as purely administrative. Isn't that great? This is not about reckless accusations. It's about reading the filings, examining the public records, and asking logical, evidence-based questions. Because when 328 million when 328 million is involved, details matter. Now, just imagine this. A customer comes along to you and you're just a administrative company, and they want to set up literally hundreds of companies. And you may not think, oh, I don't need to ask questions. I don't need to. Well, whether you're an investor, a former partner, a professional observing from the sidelines, or someone trying to understand how these corporate structure operate. Stay with me. I'm struggling. Let's break down the chronological. Is it factual?
Factually.
Factually and without emotion. Let's say that again. Let's break this down chronologically, factually, and without emotion. So don't get emotional on me. No tears, please. And this is where the paper trail begins to speak for itself. So hopefully, I think this is going to stuff up when I do this. I'm going to go to two screens, aren't I? And there I am. You've got my chat box that I look at on the side and my screen. So I'm going to have to fix that so it looks better. Let's go to this screen here. And I always prepare things before I go live. And that's the box we want. Excellent. So Susie was one of my head of Avengers, looked at that picture and went, oh my goodness. So here I am, dressed up in my orange uniform, of course, pretending I'm Steve Davis being the hero, when really may not be a hero. Who knows? And this is Samuels, what's his last name? M. Samuels. I've forgotten his name. Harry M. Samuels. And they're shredding all the papers now because they don't want anything to do with Goliath now. No one wants anything to do with Goliath. We're looking for a video on Sam Burks. We need a video of Sam Burks. Sorry, not Sam Burks. Get it all wrong today. Matt Burks preaching, because all the ones of Matthew Burks preaching have been scrubbed from the parish's website just today. And there's also another video that we were looking for where Christopher was in a podcast and he was telling everyone how he got fired from In-N-Out Burger. And I've got it on one of my videos. So if you guys are binge watching my videos and you see where I play the video of Christopher sitting down with Alex, his fitness trainer, telling everyone how he got fired from In-N-Out Burger for stealing some tickets to a concert. If you can find that video on my YouTube channel, I'd be very grateful. But I did go through there and I'm scrubbing all my videos trying to find that pop up, but they've removed the content. Oh, that reminds me. That's another thing I must do. I can go through there and find Matt Burks, the preacher, can't I? I forget all this exciting stuff. But anyway, they're scrubbing content furiously from the website, from the internet, which is even funnier. But isn't that just a fantastic? Harry M. Samuel, thank you. Yes, we need a video of Matt Burks preaching. If you know Matt Burks, he is one hell of a guy. And actually, just for shits and giggles, now we're on my little high horse, I think I can actually go to Intel, go to Goliath, and there we are. So if you are familiar with Matt Burks, he was the guy that basically told everyone how to set up the LLC companies. And yesterday we showed you this This is a broker checker link. It's linked off my website now, and it says previously registered broker, which means he has no authority to give any financial advice whatsoever because he's not a registered financial advisor. And if you look at those red dots there, that means these are cases that all went against him. And these orange things here are judgments from lawyers and from judges fining him or losing the cases. So there's 34, 13,000, 75,000, 11,000, 18,000, and these are all judgments against Matt Burke. So here's the guy that was doing the independent audit for Goliath Ventures, and he's got a shady background and not registered. Oh my goodness, really? So if you ever need to do a broker check, what you can do, you can go to my website, theheck.com, and when that loads, you'll be able to go to utilities. And down here, you've got broker check, and you can basically click on that. And there's a whole lot of other utilities that we use for open source intelligence. And while you're there, if you want to support me and what I do, you can click on support me, and you can donate to me anonymously, or you can grab a membership and support the work that I do with my Avengers, or you can come over to the other side of my website and you can buy me a cup of coffee. Just give me money so that we can keep this thing going that we're doing. We really appreciate the support that we get. We've had quite a bit of support lately, and it's really, really much appreciated. So, all right. So what I will do is when you go down to my homepage, you can see my latest blog. So you can see that's where you find them. So in the description of the video you're watching right now, you'll see a link that goes off to the blog that we're about to look at. And I'm going to tell you who this Harry Samuels guy is. And I would like to know in the comments section how you feel about his activities with Goliath Ventures. And now that he wants to resign and doesn't want anything to do with the company, and he sent this to me in email correspondence, and everything that I've gotten here, I have had verified by Harry himself, which is quite cool. So let's just go to the first part here. I merely did what I was asked to do and paid to do. Okay, that's his defense. That's his defense. Not that he's guilty. No, I can't accuse him of being guilty. I'll just have half a glass of water. Right. So the funny thing about this, if everyone realizes they didn't do anything wrong, why do they no longer want to act for any associated company? I assume they're talking about associate administrative distance under federal scrutiny. When a corporate structure collapses under federal criminal charges, scrutiny does not stop with the founder. It expands onwards to the professionals who formed the entities, filed the paperwork, prepared the tax returns, and maintained the administrative framework. Now, think about this. You've got a client that you're filing tax returns who has brought in $328 million. And you're just doing what you're told. On February the 20th, 2026, the federal criminal complaint was filed in the United States District Court for the Middle District of Florida, charging Christopher Alexander Delgado with 18 CS blah, 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 wire fraud and money laundering. I tell you what, I love that word, money laundering. And it says, see page 1 of the federal criminal complaint. Well, I could do, but I didn't actually provide a link to that, but you'll find that on my website if you want to actually find the case. Anyway, there's a bracket there. The affidavit summary states that Goliath allegedly operated a Ponzi scheme. I wonder what one of those are. If you don't know what a Ponzi scheme is, that's where they go out there searching for new customers and they get their money and they do nothing with it. And then they give it to the old investors to keep them happy. And the old investors are so happy about getting the new investors' money, they normally talk about it to everybody. And then it creates a bit of a, oh, look at the money I'm getting paid. You should join up and you should do the same. And then the new investors come along and they get their money. They don't realize they're getting paid from new investors' money, though. They just play what they call it willful blindness a lot of the time. They just pretend it's not happening. They don't want to ask too many questions, because if they ask questions, then they could be they might be bitterly disappointed. So everyone just turns a blind eye and keeps taking the money. That's what really happens. All right, so we've got some nice messages here in the chat room. Microsoft Certified Trainer, lovely to see you here. You're watching on my Twitch. It's good to see. What are criminals? We'll put some of these messages up. Hopefully they'll come up really nice. Oh, that's really big, isn't it? But that's okay. Good afternoon, Admiral. Nice to see you here, Susie. Hello, Queen of Karma. Good to see you here as well. Hey, Danny, keep fighting the good fight. Also as a NZ expat, your voice makes me think of home. Well, there you are. Well, I won't start singing, but it's really cool. Oh, thank you very much for the support. Hello, Queen of Karma. We've got that already. Susie saying hello. Everyone say hello in the chat room. We're just a big happy family here. And then Susie's helped me out with some of the words I keep forgetting to pronounce properly. So thanks for that. And short ticks, I got that right. Greetings. And I don't think I've seen magical Nev. Just doing what we were told was tried. Now you're going to notice I can't read very well, but I'll put it on the screen. Everyone else can read that. Boy, that's big writing up there, isn't it? So we're going to put that there. All right, so we're doing good. We're away laughing. Alrighty, so against the backdrop, Harry M. Samuels, accountant and former registered agent connected to Goliath Ventures Inc., has confirmed he is resigning from Delgado's related entities. So you might not think that's a big deal. Now, before I scroll, I'm actually going to show you why that is a big deal. Now, we had a company that had a license to some special software that went bing, bing. And they said, would you like us to have a look up and see what other companies are associated to Harry Samuels and Goliath Ventures? And this is what we found. So it's a wee bit hard to read, but I'll just try to make that as big as possible. Oh, there we go. Look at this. So all these companies here. So we'll go down here. So you got Christopher, and then you've got Goliath, and then you've got Harry M. Samuels, and these are all the companies that he's been registering for people to help them set up companies for all different reasons. You know, I don't know what those reasons are. Maybe it's tax, maybe it's location. I mean, why would a bookkeeper based in Florida, I assume, need to move her company to Wyoming? Well, we'll find out, won't we? That's going to be fun. Let's have a look back here. So where are we? We're at over here. Okay. So where did we get to? Counters. The article, this article does not allege criminal conduct. Criminal conduct. I better get that right. Hold up.
This article does not allege criminal conduct by Mr. Samuels. It examines.
I think it's meant to say any misconduct. Is it meant to have misconduct in there, or is that reading right? Anyway, what I'll say verbally is we're not alleging any criminal misconduct. I think it's misconduct. I think that's how you'd say that. Criminal conduct. Oh, no, that's right. Criminal conduct. Yeah, that's right. So his written explanation, we've got his written explanations, public corporate filings, the timing of jurisdictional shifts, his firm advertises service scopes, the professional overlap involving Nadia Bringus, and the, I'm just not reading these words today, but then I didn't read them really well yesterday either. The confirmed federal complaint, the filings are public, the complaints is federal, and the resignation is confirmed. The question is whether the explanation of minimal, okay, I'll have to read it.
The question is whether the explanation of minimal administrative involvement aligns with the broader factual record.
I'm not going to read that again. You heard it here first. Okay, so this is what we got from Harry Samuels. Now, I'll be fully transparent, and we're going to put our correspondence in this blog, but I'm going to keep it just in case we need it one day. Anyway, long story short, we've done 5 emails to Harry, and he's been very nice. He's even corrected the way I spell my name, but except one of them, he did spell the last name wrong again. But anyway, but he's been polite, he's been very helpful, and he's been very good at answering our questions, even though we did ask him some pretty curly questions. What Harry M. Samuels says his role was. So I have asked him exactly, what is your role with Goliath? Because every time we look up a company, it's got Harry's name on the bottom of it. In correspondence, Mr. Samuels consistently described his involvement as limited and administrative. He stated, right, here we go. I was not involved in any planning or enterprise structuring. Okay. So remember, he's set up all these companies and he hasn't given any advice on structuring. He's just blindly set up these companies. All right. That's what he's saying. I prepared the tax return from documentation provided to me. So he's just a filing clerk. I mean, I would love to know what type of tax return Goliath Ventures did. Who would put your hand up or put a 7 in the chat room if you would like to know how much tax Goliath Ventures has actually been paying? 7 in the chat room. 7? Anybody going to put a 7? Well, some of the other scams that we go after tell their people to get charismatically involved. And to do that, they often tell people to put 7s in the chat room. And it's a sort of an Avenger thing. So I was having a bit of a laugh there. Glad you guys found it was funny. You try sitting in a room by yourself with a bright light in front of your head. Oh, sure. Okay, Queen of Karma's gone sure. Okay, registered, we got the, yep. Okay, so registered agents are not required to do any future due diligence. So this is his words, not mine. So if somebody comes along to you and you're a registered agent, oh, look, I've got 2 7s now. Thank you very much. I was thinking you guys didn't care. So if anyone goes along to your company and you're able to register a company, you are not required to do any due diligence. So if a murderer walks into the office and wants to set up a company to assassinate people, you don't have to ask him any questions. You just need to sign up those companies and get the job done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I merely did what I was asked to do and paid to do. He's a good servant, isn't he? I mean, it's sort of like going to McDonald's and asking for your burger and fries and they hand them over with no questions asked, no complications. Imagine the lady on the other end of the counter said, what are you going to do with these foods? What are you going to eat these with? What sauce are you going to use on these chips? You'd be a bit surprised. So that's the sort of service that this guy's provided. He just does what he's asked and what he's paid to do, and no questions are asked. He maintains he formed entities upon request. He didn't come up with any ideas or creative stuff. Fair enough. He acted as a registered agent. Fair enough. He prepared tax returns from reconciled books, maybe from Nadia, who works with him, who's on his website, which we'll have a look at in a minute. I don't even know if I've actually got that. Anyway, he did not audit the operations. He doesn't care. He's just a machine. He fits in the square hole and the round hole goes with a round peg, and that's all he does. He did not verify business practices. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to just have a look because I actually haven't added his name in there. I'm just going to see if I've actually got. I might just do that offline just in case I stuff up. But let's go to Harry. Harry Samuels. I don't know why Harry Samuels. I don't know why. I'll just see if I can find him. 1 second, please, call. I just want to have a look at his website just so you get an idea of what he actually does, because it would be fair. Isn't it funny that Matt Burke they're scrubbing everything from his website? Isn't that funny? Right. All right, there we go. I've got it now. Here we go. Right, we've got to move that back up. So this is Harry Samuels. Actually, I'm going to be even a bit naughtier. I'm going to do something else I thought was quite funny. I want you to meet Harry Samuels because it'd be rude not to. I hope you agree. But I've got a wee surprise for you. Do you like motorbikes? Harry. Now, hopefully he hasn't scrubbed this. Harry. But I'm not saying that Harry's a bad guy because Harry's been absolutely awesome to me. He's answered my questions. But when we started researching this Harry guy, we didn't know who he was. So we found him. And here he is. He's got a bit of music, but there he is. I'm going to make it a bit wider. There you go. That's Harry. And there he is. He's got to keep his teeth shut because he gets insects. And here he is. Let's have a listen.
Time and time again. Don't let the government, don't let the media, don't let anyone else tell you any differently. The American dream is still alive, and you can have it. Thank you.
Wow, that was back in 1980, I think. So he's got a nice motorbike.
Hello, my name is Harry Samuels. I've been a practicing
I'm going to make him a bit bigger so you can see.
tax and financial consultant for most of the last 30 years. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sitting on this Harley in the Colorado Rockies instead of behind a desk. Purpose is to impress upon you a point of what it is I'm going to talk to you about. During those 30 years, I've worked with people all around the world in all walks of life. The common denominator is that today people have forgotten how to dream. They've forgotten how to set goals. They've forgotten to make those goals a reality and instead have settled for a mediocre existence.
Now, do you guys settle for mediocre resistance? I'm just curious.
By using the techniques that I'll teach you in my seminars, I'll teach you how to use all the tax laws legally to gain dollars that you've been wasting over the years.
How about that? So maybe one day Christopher was sitting there on the internet searching for a way to actually get the best out of his accountant, and he stumbled across Harry's video.
To gain financial independence, to gain control over your life, so that you can dream the dreams you've always wanted, to achieve the goals you've always deserved.
Be empowered, not intimidated. So this guy is definitely not intimidated by anything to do with the legal profession, because he's telling you to be empowered, not intimidated.
My mission is to teach you how to use the tax laws, how to use the laws that are given to us, controlled by the government, turn them around, use them within all legal guidelines, and teach you how to take the money that you're throwing down the drain in tax dollars, put them in your pocket, and enrich your lifestyle.
Whoa, that's exactly what Chris did, didn't he? He pushed it right to the edge. Oh no, he went over the edge, didn't he? That's right, and he took a whole lot of people over the cliff with him. So here's the man that's telling you that's what the service he's offering.
Who here is interested in hearing more about this?
Hi, I've got to tell you something about Harry Samuels. You know, the man saves my butt, quite honestly, on a regular basis from the IRS, because I'm the type of person, I don't know if you can relate, I make a lot of money, I spend a lot of money, I'm willing to pay my money to the IRS, but this man makes sure that I pay not a penny more than I owe. He is
financial and tax management.
Worth his weight in gold.
I've had people take...
And to be honest, that's quite a lot of money, because he's up there. He's about the same weight as me.
The reinvestment monies and put the kids through college, pay for the braces for the kids, buy new vehicles, buy bigger houses. And my concept is to take the tax dollars, reinvest it into your lifestyle.
Take control. Don't be controlled.
So instead of waiting to get a refund at the end of the year, which has no interest, no dividends, no growth, they've taken the money out on a periodic basis, done their own investing, or hired an investment counselor to help them. They then end up with more money throughout the year, and at the end, the cumulative effect is much greater than the refund they would have gotten if they had done it the old way. It's a fact that most American workers work till mid-May just to save up enough tax dollars to pay the taxes on the income that they will earn the rest of the year. It's also a fact that most Americans will work week after week, year after year, and are only 2 paychecks away from bankruptcy. The problem is that the government, primarily the Internal Revenue Service, has convinced the American people that they're not entitled to take deductions, that they're not entitled to do the things that they want to do and be able to take a deduction for them. The government has basically brainwashed the people of this country to believe that just because you have a dream, just because you have a goal, doesn't mean that you can take a tax deduction. What it is financial bondage. I've had the distinct pleasure of working with people all over this great country and at this point in 6 foreign nations to teach these people how to turn the laws around, how to use every legal loophole to take those dollars that have been thrown down the drain, to put them back in their pockets, and to enrich their lifestyles and allow them to reach for the stars, to go for the dreams, and to shoot for the goals.
I have had the
Live your dreams through financial freedom. This is quite good for 1980 stuff, isn't it?
best 4 days with Harry, and he has shown me not only ways to be able to benefit my current tax situation, but we've mapped out a plan now that I know we've targeted well beyond what I imagined was possible for my financial situation. And
I always wonder when these people get audited whether they still have the same message, because you can do anything you like with your taxes until you get audited and then you realize you've been doing it wrong. And I'm not saying these guys are doing it wrong, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's all good until you get audited and then you come up and give a testimonial.
I feel so comfortable because of the integrity of Harry. Not only that, but he's an incredibly fun guy.
My position is that as long as you're within the legal boundaries, you're using every legal loophole available, you should take every tax dollar that's available to you.
Oh, thank you for telling me about the echo. Echo off. I'm going to practice something. But good to know. If you ever hear an echo like that, I can fix that normally. So I've just turned the echo. I've lost my microphone. Okay. So let's try this again. It'd be interesting to see what it's like now.
And reinvest it in your own economy rather than letting it sit in the government coffers until the government's ready to give it back to you. I've devoted my life to teach people, to teach the American work people, and now the people of the world, how to take the information, decide what is it you want out of life. I mean, how...
Not sure how long this goes for, but I think we're there. I'm actually going to play it because I actually quite like listening to this now. I'll just put it back to here. Hopefully that echo is better now, but much better. But there you go. Look, it's real funny. I've got an echo button. I have it on, and it's got an echo. So I turn it off. I'll put it back on, and the echo goes.
How many times have you wanted to go to a Broadway play, to a Stanley Cup final?
Hey, put your hand up. Put a 7 in the chat room if you've ever wanted to go to a Broadway play or maybe the Yankees game, because that's what Christopher did with Patrick Ben David, didn't he? Because he owns the Yankees or something. Maybe that's where Christopher's got so charismatically involved with this guy. Maybe Christopher went to one of this guy's seminars and he thought, I don't want to pay much tax. I just want to pay the bare minimum. I'd love to know if he's paid any tax.
To any event, but you've thought to yourself, I can't afford this. It's not tax deductible, but that's wrong. You can do these things.
You buy the Yankees and then you can claim it as a tax dodge.
If you know how to use the laws properly, if you take this information that I can give you, I can show you how to take everything that's in the tax code, turn it around legally, using every legal loophole, and make it work for you.
Every legal loophole. Now, if you were going to help people with every legal loophole, why would you run a business right on the line? I always say, like when I used to work from home, you can claim your bedroom if it's dedicated to the office, but you can't go, oh, my house is a 4-bedroom home, so I can claim a quarter of my house for expenses because I'm using 1 bedroom. And then I use the toilet, and I use the kitchen, and I use the lounge room for my meeting room, and I park my business car in the car park or in the driveway, and that takes a bit of space. But there is a limit. And I always said to my accountant, well, let's not get to the limit. Let's just take it back a little bit. I mean, let's be real. We don't have to, use every single loophole in life. Well, do we? I don't know. Love to know. What do you guys think? Obviously, Christopher wasn't using any legal loopholes.
You can take these dollars, take them out of wasted tax dollars that you get virtually no benefit for, put them back in your pocket, back in your lifestyle, turn it around, and enrich your lifestyle. There's no reason why you have to settle for less than you're entitled to out of your life. If you use the techniques that I teach you, if you join me, if you let me show you the way to enhance your life, to increase your financial ability, to gain financial control, you too can be riding through the canyons and mountains of your life. Set your dreams, don't settle for anything less. You deserve it, you're entitled to it, and I can show you how to get the maximum out of your life. Thank you.
Oh, it's absolutely breathtaking. So there you go. So that people were saying before I went live, who is Harry Samuels? Well, that's Harry Samuels, and he helps you get through every loophole that you want to. That is the position. That position is important to present it accurately. So anyway, so now we know that he's resigning from Goliath, even though Goliath has been probably shut down, doesn't want anything to do with anyone that's theoretically associated to him. Hey, thank you very much for the Matt Burke videos. I've forwarded them off to my correspondents. What else have we got here? A few other messages that you can't see. Just making sure. Just found that one too. Good on you. Was literally recording. So what do we need now? We need that I've found the podcast of Christopher saying he got fired from In-N-Out Burger. Anyway, I shouldn't have said it online because I'll get scrubbed that as well. They're scrubbing the content, guys. The federal criminal complaint against Goliath. The federal complaint alleges that from January 2023 through January 2026, Goliath solicited investor funds under representation that money would be deployed into cryptocurrency liquidity pools. Instead, the complaint alleges investors' funds were primarily used to pay earlier investors. Funds were not deployed into liquidity pools as represented. Investors' portals displayed misleading and fabricated returns. Substantial sums were used for personal real estate purchases, all the houses Chris has got. And also there's a lot of co-signing going on for Ferraris and Lamborghinis, which is something else we haven't really mentioned too much about. Approximately 328 million was attained from victims. And I reckon that will climb in time. Because remember, yesterday we did a story about how one lawyer, Jordan Shaw, claims he has reasons to believe there could be $1 billion locked up. And we did have a new article from the Sentinel newspaper, which we may read at the end of this. And in there, he claims that there's 20 new victims that have come along to use him to represent him for his recovery. And this is really gutting. Now, we've actually got some interesting stuff happening behind the scenes that I can't quite tell you about. However, there's been some reporting which we're not happy about. And we have told them that they are misleading the public, and I think it's going to be rectified. Now, I'll give you an example of that. We've got Nick, who's claiming he's a victim. Nick Petrillo is claiming he is a victim of Goliath Ventures Inc. Nick is the only person that hasn't actually invested for our knowledge, in Goliath Ventures. His court case is all about the money he was owed in rewards. So allegedly, let's say it's around about 40 million. So Nick is suing Goliath Ventures and Christopher because he hasn't been paid the rewards that his contract says. All the other victims have invested in Goliath Ventures, and the dividends that they were meant to get paid and the principal that was meant to be insured is what they are filing for. However, Nick is claiming that he did not know he was the COO of the company. So we're actually looking for people who can provide evidence other than the website, because the website's been taken off. But Nick is actually saying that he didn't know that he was the COO of Goliath Ventures. So anybody that goes to Jordan Shaw and wants to sue a partner like Nick, because Nick, we believe, has recruited maybe up to 900 people into Goliath Ventures, you can't use that lawyer. Because he's told everyone there could be $1 billion potentially locked up, he has reason to believe. People are now going to use this lawyer in droves. But in my opinion, is that he's protecting Nick from getting sued, because that same lawyer who's now getting all these people in has a conflict of interest if anyone says, well, Nick was my partner and I want to sue the partner. And because he's already prepared the lawsuit, it doesn't cost to go to this Jordan Shaw as much as potentially another lawyer. Now that's ridiculous and it's wrong. And I did a video yesterday because I really wanted to highlight how wrong that was. So what I'm asking anybody who has invested, if you've got any correspondence, because Nick was responsible for handling the money, just like any COO would be. And if you've got any proof that we haven't thought of, that we can provide the media and get them to get their facts right, rather than making Nick look like a victim, I want Nick in jail. I want him charged within a few weeks. And that may have not happened yet, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Nick is complaining that he didn't receive about $40 million worth of rewards from stolen investors' funds. And I don't know if I can spell that any better than I have. These findings are contained in a sworn affidavit supporting the complaint. So what we just read up there, these are federal allegations, establish primary cause, not trial verdicts. However, they materially change the context in which professional proximity is examined. I'm surprised I managed to read that. I've probably got one of those words wrong. The scale of the corporate network. Now, I want you really to focus on this. So you might think, it's just Goliath Ventures, right? Well, if you go to someone like Harry Samuels, he will just set up as many companies as you like. Public filings show a large interconnected entity network tied to Christopher Delgado and Goliath Ventures Inc. Across many filings, Harry M. Samuels appears in such roles. He is the, what do they call it?
Formation filer.
He files it. He's the registered agent, compliance contact, and tax preparer. So those four things are major in a company. And it doesn't mean just because he was doing those things that he is liable of anything or guilty of anything. The accompanying corporate graphic illustrates the was it breadth and density of the network, which you'll see, which I've already shown you. Scale alone does not establish wrongdoing. However, when dozens, potentially hundreds of entities are formed within a tightly connected structure, legitimate questions arise. Why were so many of these entities created? So why would they have, I'm going to flip here. That's why I got distracted, didn't I? It's not there. It's not there. I'll see if I can ping it up on another screen so we can have it side by side. I'll just fix my little wee chat window here. So I just want you to, now the software that we use to get these images on the screen, I really need that turned around though, don't I? I wonder if I can do that easy. Yeah, I might turn that around. 1 minute, please. Open with Photoshop. Oh, it's already open. 1 minute, please. Rotation, anti-clockwise. That's the wrong way, Danny. 180. That might work. Hold it. Select all. No, I won't. I'll just export it. Export. Save for the web. And we'll go save. And we'll just go like that. Oh, that was good. Right, let's see if we can do that better. So what I'm doing here, kids, it's just to give you a little bit more real estate, really. So you can see the corporate structure of Goliath Ventures. So why are all these companies set up? Now, remember I said when we watched the video, they told all the partners to set up their own LLC companies to form a legal barrier between Goliath Ventures Inc. and the partners. And they also instructed the partners to do and not to do a lot of things. And they also told the partners to watch their terminology and make sure that they don't say the wrong thing and don't mention the word investments, because if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. But if you don't use the word quack, then it's not a duck. It might be a frog. All that sort of carry on. Well, let's go back here. So why did so many of these entities exist? Anyone want to have a go why somebody would set up all these entities around Goliath Ventures? Anyone want to know? Well, maybe we need to get Harry Samuels in here and he can actually answer that question, because I don't know. What business function did each of them serve? That's an unanswered question, but maybe you're cleverer than me and you can help answer that question. Were they operational, dormant, or speculative? Like, were they just shelf companies ready to go? That's what we call them in New Zealand anyway. Mr. Samuels has stated many entries when we asked him. We had 5 email correspondence with him in the last 24 hours. They were formed for future ventures or unspecified purposes. That means he didn't know why they were set up. He was just doing what he was told and he was paid to do it and he just did it. That explanation is now documented. So we've got that in writing from him, which is really, really cool. Public record entities associated through the filings. The following entries appear in public filings where Harry M. Samuels listed in administrative capacities. conclusion. Oh, sorry. Inclusion does not imply misconduct. I'll state that very clearly. It demonstrates the scope of repetition. So what we're trying to figure out is why did all these companies exist and what was the purpose? And this was exported from his whatever. Now, the software that used to grab this information, the license to use the software to grab this information, display it in this way, is actually, I got told, $100,000 license for some really clever software. And I got invited into a crime-fighting kind of online convention, and a lady was portfolioing the software that she uses to go through these companies, because I'm not alleging that Harry's doing anything with money laundering, but they use this sort of software to watch where money laundering is done, and it was really, really exciting. So if you come to my website and you click on that name, that goes off to the same lady, and I think it's called that one. So one of these, this company here will actually go through and trace, the companies, or maybe it's this one here. Have I got that right? No, it's not that one there. I've got that completely wrong. But it was really interesting what we learned. I'll just see if it is the one. I'll just see if I can find it, because it would be quite worthwhile just to see if we can find the actual company. Uniscan. Virus total. Maybe it's that one. Redact. I think it's this one. Yeah, might be that one there. I don't know, but it's one of them. I'm pretty sure it might have been the first one. I think I might have this one here. How it works, about us, contact, become a partner, case marketplace. Don't know, but anyway, one of those companies actually provided us this search that they did, and it was absolutely friggin' amazing what they could do. But anyway, let's not get way late. Let's keep going. The reoccurrence appeared the same administrative contract because we have got that already. So in September, the second and the third corporate shift. So on the 2nd of December 2025, Bringus Bookkeeping was filed in Wyoming, and you can click on Wyoming and you'll go to the exact, I'll just show you, the exact filing, so you can actually see how crazy it is. And just as a wee stupid side hustle, which I'm going to do, even though I think I shouldn't, I've got to do it. If you go to Wyoming and people go, well, why do people register in Wyoming? Here's an example of how silly it is. So here's a company that we had shut down called Affiliate Marketing 3.0 DAO LLC. And this is a company that is running a big fraud. It's associated to a $1.9 billion fraud. And if you go into the administrative action, it will tell you that this company shut down because they broke the law, and we reported them enough times that got shut down. 3 months later, they're exactly the same company, the same registrar, the same everything, went and set up the same company. So that one's shut down, and it's an administrative nightmare, can't be undone. And the same company went and opened up exactly the same company, exactly the same everything, even the name is the same. And this just shows you how stupid and how frustrating it is for us with companies that are registered in Wyoming. And we know that this is why people use these companies that are set up. I call them shady companies. They always make us laugh. But there was a reason why Goliath Ventures decided to shut down Florida, even though they're operating out of Florida. That they have no offices in Wyoming, but then their bookkeeper and Goliath Ventures on the 2nd of September and on the 3rd of December shut down and reopened their companies in Wyoming, and this is terrible. So both had previously operated in Florida, both transitioned jurisdictions within 24 hours of each other. Both filings included Harry's email in the documentation, and both list this new register, which we haven't even looked into.
Registered Agent Services in Wyoming.
Yeah, so he basically said he didn't have anything to do with setting this up. So let's just go to one of them, and you'll see in here, you've got and there's Harry's email address there. And then you've got another one down here, and these are publicly available information. So Harry's signature. So something happened here with Harry. He's got his name on here. He's got his phone number on here. And that's what happened. So what was going on here? Why was that necessary? These are the questions you want to start asking people What's the benefit of doing this? What was he trying to accomplish? Is it moving the liability when it all goes pear-shaped? All right, the company's relocated for legitimate reasons. The company's relocated for legitimate reasons. However, the tight synchronization between the bookkeeping entity and the primary operating entity slowly become public before the close. Oh, so shortly become, I don't know what I'm saying here. Sorry, guys.
Shortly before public collapse is part of the factual record.
It is. Mr. Samuel states he was not involved in planning or restructuring. Fair enough. The filings show his contact information's present during the transition. That this timing is documented. What does it say that for?
Interpretation.
Interpretation is left to readers. So if he wasn't involved, then why is his details on these companies? That's what I'm going to ask. These are the questions I really want to know. Assuming they created all of these entities for cross-networking marketing and or to diversify their venue flow, I'm sure all these companies have more than one ledger. Don't know. I don't know. I'm going to just, excuse me, coughing over the mic. That's why we have that spit guard on it. I'm just going to put these back to normal size. Let's see what happens if we do that. Is that better? Put you up there. Look at that. That's the size we want. Alrighty. So I thought that was quite interesting. Right. So Nadia Bringus. If you don't know who she is, you can see her at the very top here. She's the lady with the short dress on with all the box. We've got Harry here shredding paper as fast as he can, and you've got me putting out the fire because I want to keep the evidence. But anyway, that was a bit of a funny, I quite enjoyed doing that one. So who is Nadia Bringus? Well, funny enough, we had one of our Avengers sitting right beside her in Wyoming on the 10th of December. And he couldn't believe his luck, sitting right next door to the bookkeeper with her laptop open. She would never know that one of my Avengers was sitting next to her in the foyer. Now, that's so cool, isn't it? We even had one of our Avengers in the concert when Jason Derulo was there. So if you're watching that, Chris, and you're wondering why you come down, your company collapsed in such a hurdle, it's because we had people on the ground smoozing within your audience that were trying to take down Goliath Ventures and save people from losing their money. And that took a big risk. Even I went to Florida and went to Orlando and to carry on my investigations. And you can see that video of me doing that in my video section. It's the one with, looks like Goliath and Danny there. Right. Nadia Bringus, staff member and independent operator. Let's prove that. Where is he gone? Is he gone again? Oh, there he is. So this is Mr. Harry Samuel's website, accountant and financial advisor. So I'd love to know whether he actually is a financial advisor. And my, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try something which I haven't done. I hate doing stuff live, but I can't help myself. So let's go get Harry M. Samuels and let's see if he really is a registered financial advisor, because that would be friggin' hilarious if he wasn't. And I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying it'd be a good time to check. So if we go back to here, and if we go to theheck.com, we go to Danny. And once again, if you go to my utilities, you can see broker check. And I don't know whether this brings up financial regulated advisors. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to see what broker check actually does. And we're looking for Samuels, Samuels. Now, what is his name? Harry M. Samuels. So we're looking for Harry. Oh, there's probably quite a few of these. Was that it? No, that's it. So I don't know. More details. Can you open up the news windows? I don't know what I'm looking at. Maybe not the same sort of thing. But anyway, I thought that would be worth a crack, Nigel. But theoretically, Samuel, Harry, Madlock's not the same, is it? No. Two firms. Would be good though. Harry, M. Harris. Oh, that might be it. Harrison? Harry? Oh, I don't know. Susie's going to tell me off for doing this. Can't figure out how to find things. I don't know. But anyway, so theoretically, looking at his website, he's telling everyone that he is, people who work in the company are accountants and financial advisors. So website is terrible. You can't even highlight the text. It's all picture done. So he needs to update his website. And there's the motorbike video. early 2000s. So that was like when I was traveling in America. So that is like I was 32. Oh my goodness. So he's probably about the same age as me, maybe a bit older now. Alrighty. And the other thing we've got, if you go to Meet the Team, you're going to see Meet the Team, and you've got all the big letters that you do. So there's some lady I don't know. There's some other lady I don't know. And here's a lady I do know. Born and raised in New York, Nadia graduated from Brooklyn College with a bachelor's degree in psychology, physiology, I don't know. She is fluent in English and Hebrew. Oh, her background includes bookkeeping and accounting, working closely with her team and clients. Nadia is dedicated analytical thinker. I'm just going to cheat here, guys, because I want to know exactly what she did. So we did find that she may have some connections to other countries at one stage, which was always quite interesting. Let's see if I can get this right. I've got a new way of reading it. Let's see what happens.
Born and raised in New York, Nadia graduated from Brooklyn College with a bachelor's degree in psychology. She is fluent in English and Hebrew. Her background includes bookkeeping and accounting, working closely with her team and clients. Nadia is a detail-oriented, analytical thinker with a solution-based mindset. She has the ability to multitask and work in high-performance environments. Nadia is always looking for cost-effective solutions leading to more efficient operations. Outside of work, Nadia is a mum of 2 toddler boys. As a family, they enjoy all the nature that Florida has to offer. Screenshot the 2nd of March 2026 at the 26th of March 2000 p.m. PNG.
Well, there you go. So then the other one, we might as well read the lady behind under her because it was from Lithuania, which I'm thinking, why would somebody be able to speak Hebrew? Does that mean that they aren't originally from America?
Originally from Lithuania, Aida comes to us with a master's degree in economics, accounting, and audit from the University of Technology in Lithuania, an associate's degree in accounting technology from Palm Beach State College, and a master's degree in electrical engineering science. She's not just book smart, but has over 20 years' experience in accounting and finance. She spends her free time with her family, including her son Arnis and her 2-year-old miniature schnauzer Axel. They like playing tennis, skiing and biking, as well as visiting new places in Europe and America. Screenshot the 2nd of March 2020.
Well, that's great, isn't it? So this one's got a history of being in Lithuania, and this one can speak Hebrew. And unfortunately, that lady, this website's 20 years old now, so I presume the doggy's no longer anymore. So that's a sad story. Screenshots from Mr. Samuel's website, captured today, shows that Nadia Bringus listed as part of the accounting team. At the same time, she operates Bringus Bookkeeping Corp independently. The company shifted to Wyoming within the same 24-hour period. She appeared at Goliath conferences. Mr. Samuels confirms she previously worked for him and occasionally assists him in the firm, so she's still connected to him. It's not like she's moved away and got her own company. This creates a documented professional overlap. Website staff listing, which she hasn't updated, independent bookkeeping corporation, conference appearing, and tax return preparation based on recent books. This does not establish wrongdoing. It demonstrates proximity. Service scope versus claimed involvement. Mr. Samuel's website advertises services including GAAP formatted financial statements, attest services, is that a word?
Attest.
Oh, don't even know what that means. Cash flow analysis, forensic accounting, consulting services, tax planning, IRS representation. These services often whole analysis and review. Involve analytics reviews.
Involve analysis and review.
Can't say it. In correspondence, however, he maintains his work with Goliath was strictly limited to preparing tax returns from client-provided documentation and not operational review. That's what he said to us. Here is the distinction between services offered and services provided. The question readers may ask is whether the involvement with Goliath was truly limited to Is it mechanical compliance?
Mechanical compliance.
Or whether advisory and bookkeeping functions were interwound, is it?
Intertwined.
Intertwined. Mr. Samuels to maintain they are not. The resignation, which is really unusual. Mr. Samuels had confirmed he is resigning as registered agent and accountant for Mr. Delgado and related entities. He states, and this is his words, not mine.
Morally and ethically, I want nothing to do with businesses or individuals involved in any type of criminal enterprise, whether alleged or proven.
Yeah, morally and ethically, I want nothing to do with business or individuals involved in any type of criminal enterprise. Really? That's good. Even if they're you've used every single loophole you can to evade paying more tax than you have, you still don't want anything to do with anyone that's running criminal enterprise. Well, that's good to know.
Resignation does not imply guilt. Professionals withdraw for many reasons: insurance considerations, reputational protection, legal advice.
Legal advice. Alrighty. Okay. If the environment was strictly administrative and compliant, why withdraw now? So what if he's been doing nothing wrong, which we're not saying he is? Why would you all of a sudden resign from being associated with Goliath Ventures? That question is, was it?
Chronological, not accusatory.
Yeah. So I'm just asking that question is like professional distance versus professional responsibility. There is a legal distinction between liability and proximity. The registered agent is not automatically responsible for a client's actions. Okay, the taxpayer is not required to audit every transaction, but when a professional appears across a diverse entity network, what are we going to? I'm going to read this. Get it right.
Participates in filings during synchronized jurisdictional shifts, prepares tax returns from internal books, and employs or associates with the company's bookkeeper. The public will examine context.
So, from my perspective, I can only imagine if you're working in an office and somebody comes along with maybe a whole lot of hot scones. And as they come in, you just get the hot scones and you put them on the shelf and you stack them in the shelves. But when somebody comes into the office with a dump truck and fills the offices up with hot scones, I think you need to actually have a different strategy. You're not just putting these hot scones on the shelf anymore. In fact, this company, Goliath Ventures, had hundreds of companies registered. So I'm only assuming there would have been some sort of direction or some sort of reason for doing it in this way. And I'm surprised that I didn't get that information in the email. He's created all these companies and all these entities for what reason? Is he really saying he has no idea what all these companies were set up for? His written statements, public corporate records, federal court filings. He formed entities. He acted as the registered agent. He prepared tax returns from client-provided documentation. He did not audit operations, and now he's resigning. I just think that's cool. The federal charges are public. The structure is visible. The timing is documented. The remaining questions are structural, not accusatory. Readers can access the records for themselves. Look, what I'm getting at here is this amount of companies that are set up, and the way that this is structured, to just say that you have no idea why they're doing it this way is just no good. And why resign? Why decide that you don't want anything to do with this anymore and just get rid of it? I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys to post comments. Let me know what's happening. Some really good stuff is happening at the moment. So if you want an update on what's happening, there's a lot of news out there trying to have a hash at 5 or 6 months worth of research that we've been doing and report on what's actually happening with Goliath and what's happened with Goliath. I'm unfortunately cringing. My toes are curling when I'm reading some of this information that's going out there in the media. There was a fantastic article in the Sentinel newspaper, which I would like to read. I'm going to see if I can bring it up. And then we're going to have a wee read. Now, I don't have enough money to pay for a subscription for every newspaper that wants us to. So I'm going to see if we can bring it up. Oh, is there another article? Let's have a look. There might be another article that's just gone live. 12 News. That was March the 1st. Oh, so here is a new article. We'll have a look at this one first. Accept all cookies. Hopefully I can read this without it being... yeah, so let's have a look at this. So we'll go back to this one. The Wolf of Winter Park. Oh, that's funny. Aren't they clever? Allow notifications. No, thanks. Florida crypto CEO of... actually, what I'll do, before we get stuck into this, I will actually go back here and I'll just finish off this video so I can cut it off, because what I would like to do is keep these videos a bit short so you guys can have a life and you don't have to binge watch all my videos. But thank you for doing so. But now we'd like to carry on doing another section of the video. So I'll finish this here and I'll say thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting myself and the Avengers. If you've got any news about Goliath Ventures and anything that they're doing that you want to give to us anonymously, you can go to theheck.com. You can click on the contact button and it will take you to a form where you can fill out information anonymously. And we get some really interesting information. We just received, and I'll tell you, a whole ton of information on Nick. So the whole history of Nick Petrillo and everything that he's been doing that's a wee bit shady, or a lot shady, has just been given to us. And we're actually doing the real good thing with that information. So those sort of tips, don't think we don't want them. If you have lost money to Goliath Ventures and you don't know where to turn to us. We have actually got a good show coming up at the end of the week. Well, at the end of my week, Thursday for you guys. And we're actually asking people that have been defrauded by Goliath Ventures, if they want to speak up, they want to come on stage with me and actually talk to me, ask questions, and help other people come to terms with what's actually going on, because it's not nice. And that's where we'll leave it today, and we'll see you in the next video.